That was the exact second I stopped being their daughter. I was the ghost in the family photo from here on out. My name is Savannah, and I graduated summa cum laude from Stanford University on a Tuesday in June. The ceremony was beautiful, golden California sunshine, proud families everywhere, the works. I wore my cap and gown like armor, walked across that stage with my head high, and shook the dean's hand while 2,000 people applauded. Not one of them was related to me. I sat in the graduates section, scanning the crowd during the opening remarks, looking for familiar faces. Mom's blonde bob, Aunt Sarah's oversized sunglasses. Even Marlowe's messy bun would have been a welcome sight. Nothing. Just strangers holding congratulations, graduate, signs for their own kids. My phone buzzed during the valedictorian speech. Mom, so sorry, honey. Marlowe's baby shower got moved to today last minute. You understand? You'll have other graduations. Other graduations? I stared at the text until the words blurred. This was my bachelor's degree, my first degree, the first college graduation in our entire family's history. But apparently, Marlowe's second baby shower was more important. I opened Instagram like a masochist. There they were, my entire family crammed into Aunt Sarah's living room, grinning around pink balloons and a diaper cake. Mom looked radiant, holding up tiny onesies. Aunt Sarah was cutting a cake shaped like a baby bottle. Even my dad was there, and he hates family functions. The caption read, "Celebrating our sweet Marlowe and baby Zarsh too. Family first always." 47 likes, 47 people who thought this was worth celebrating. I screenshotted everything, every single post, every smiling face, every family first comment. The graduate next to me leaned over. "You okay? You look like you're about to throw up." "I'm fine," I lied, shoving my phone away. But I wasn't fine. I was 24 years old, sitting alone at my own graduation, realizing that my family had collectively decided that Marlowe's unplanned pregnancy celebration trumped my academic achievement. Again. This wasn't new. When I made honor roll in high school, they were at Marlowe's Sweet 16. When I got into Stanford, they were helping her move in with her loser boyfriend, Kaison. When I landed my first internship, they were babysitting her first kid so she could go to some concert. The pattern was so obvious, I felt stupid for not seeing it sooner. After the ceremony, I stood on the quad watching families take pictures. A girl near me was crying happy tears while her parents fussed over her cat placement. Her little brother kept photobombing, making everyone laugh. "Savannah," I turned. Lucas from my economics class was jogging over with his family in tow. "Congrats, we did it." He pulled me into a hug. "These are my parents. Mom, Dad, this is the girl I told you about who saved my GPA in micro." His mom immediately started gushing about my achievements, asking about my plans, treating me like I mattered. His dad shook my hand and said he was proud of me. A complete stranger was proud of me. "Want to grab dinner with us?" Lucas asked. "We're going to that Italian place downtown." I almost said yes, almost let this kind family adopt me for the evening, pretend I belonged somewhere. But the pity in their eyes when they realized I was alone stopped me. "Thanks, but I have plans," I said. Another lie. I drove home to my tiny studio apartment and ordered Chinese takeout. While I waited for delivery, I called Mom. "Savannah, how was graduation? I'm so sorry we couldn't make it, but you know how these things go. Marlowe really needed us today." "It was fine." "Good, I knew you'd understand. You're so independent, you don't need us fussing over you like Marlowe does. She's just more fragile, you know? Fragile." That's what they called it when Marlowe dropped out of community college. When she got pregnant at 19. When she moved back home because Kyson couldn't hold a job. Fragile. What did that make me? Unbreakable? Unworthy of support? "I have to go, Mom." "Okay, sweetie, love you." She hung up before I could respond. Not that I would have said it back. I sat on my futon, eating lo mein straight from the container, still wearing my cap and gown, scrolling through more Instagram posts from the baby shower. They looked so happy, so complete, like they hadn't even noticed I was missing. That's when it hit me. They hadn't noticed. They never noticed. I was done being the family afterthought. Done being the responsible one who didn't need anything, done being invisible. I pulled out my laptop and started researching law schools. If they wanted to treat me like I didn't exist, fine, I'd disappear completely. And when I came back, it would be on my terms. 3 years later, I was living off 4 hours of sleep and pure spite. Savannah, you look like death, Lucas said, sliding a coffee across the law library table. When's the last time you ate something that wasn't from a vending machine? I glanced up from my constitutional law textbook. Tuesday? It's Friday. Then Wednesday. He sat down across from me, concern written all over his face. We'd kept in touch after undergrad, and now we were both at the same law school. He was probably the closest thing I had to a friend, which said everything about my social life. You're going to burn out, he said. You can't keep working 3 jobs and maintaining a 4.0. Watch me. And I meant it. While my classmates were joining study groups and going to bar review, I was tutoring undergrads at 6 a.m., working at a legal aid clinic until 3 p.m., and bartending until midnight. Every dollar went into 2 accounts: living expenses and something I called my freedom fund. My phone buzzed, a text from Leandro, my real estate agent. Leandro. Both properties cleared inspection, ready to close Monday if you are. I typed back quickly. Ready. Lucas raised an eyebrow. Hot date? Business. What kind of business requires you to look like you're plotting someone's murder? I closed my textbook. The profitable kind. Monday morning, I sat in Leandro's office signing more paperwork than I'd seen in my entire life. 2 deeds, 2 sets of keys, 2 very different futures. You sure about this? Leandro asked, sliding the final documents across his desk. It's a big commitment for someone your age. I'm sure. The first property was a cute craftsman bungalow on Maple Street, my dream home. 3 bedrooms, hardwood floors, a kitchen island I'd fantasized about while eating ramen on my futon. I'd been saving for this since graduation day. The second property was right next door. Same style house, slightly smaller. I'd bought it through an LLC I'd set up 6 months ago. Leandro was the only other person who knew I owned it. The rental market's hot in this neighborhood, he said. You'll have no trouble finding tenants. I already have someone in mind. That afternoon, I moved into my house. No family to help, no housewarming party. Just me, a U-Haul, and 3 years worth of determination. I spent the evening on my back porch, drinking wine from a coffee mug and staring at the empty house next door. My phone rang. Mom. Savannah, I haven't heard from you in months. How's school? Fine. Good, good. Listen, I have some bad news. Marlo and Kyson are having trouble with their landlord. Something about raising the rent? They might have to move back in with Sarah. I took a sip of wine. That's unfortunate. I know you're busy with school and everything, but maybe you could help them look for a new place. You're so good at research. I'll see what I can do. You're such a good cousin. Marlo really appreciates having you in her corner, even if she doesn't always show it. After she hung up, I walked to my laptop and pulled up the LLC website Leandro had helped me create. Professional photos of the rental house, competitive pricing, move in specials, everything a desperate family would need. I crafted the listing carefully. Charming 2BR 1BA, home in quiet neighborhood, pet friendly, flexible lease terms for the right tenants, immediate occupancy available. Contact Maple Street Properties for viewing. I posted it on every rental site I could find, then sent the link to Mom. Me. Found this listing. Might be perfect for Marlowe. Looks like a legitimate property management company. Mom. You're an angel. I'll send this to her right now. 2 hours later, my business phone rang. Hi, this is Marlo Shaw calling about the rental on Maple Street. I'd practiced this moment for months, but hearing her voice still made my heart race. Yes, the property is still available. When would you like to schedule a viewing? Actually, we're kind of desperate. Our current landlord is being a total jerk about everything. Could we see it tomorrow? Of course, I understand how stressful moving can be, especially with children involved. Oh my god, yes, thank you so much for understanding. Most landlords hear kids and hang up. Family is important, I said, watching through my kitchen window as Kyson's beat up Honda pulled into their current driveway across town. I'd been tracking their address for months. I believe in giving good families a chance. The next evening, I watched from my bedroom window as they toured the house next door. Marlowe looked tired but hopeful. Kyson seemed suspicious of everything, checking locks and testing faucets like he expected them to break. Little Luna ran around the backyard, pointing at flowers and chattering excitedly. She was 6 now, all pigtails and gap toothed grins. They signed the lease that night. 2 deeds, one for freedom and one for vengeance. The call came at 7 a.m. on a Tuesday. Mom's contact photo, her smiling at last year's Christmas dinner, lit up my phone screen. Savannah, thank God you answered. I was already dressed for my morning run, but her voice stopped me cold. She sounded wrecked. What's wrong? It's Marlowe. She's crying so hard I can barely understand her. Their landlord is evicting them. I sat down on my couch, looking out the window at the moving truck parked in front of the house next door. Right on schedule. That's terrible. What happened? I don't know all the details, but apparently they're behind on rent and the landlord won't work with them. They have to be out by Friday. Friday, Savannah. Where are they supposed to go with 2 babies? Through my window, I watched Kyson carrying boxes while Luna chased butterflies in the yard. Marlowe sat on the front steps, phone pressed to her ear, gesturing wildly. Have they tried talking to the landlord directly? Marlowe says he's some corporate property management company. Very cold, very businesslike. No compassion for families going through hard times. Hmm. I know this is a lot to ask, but could you maybe help them find something? You found that perfect listing last time. You're so much better at this internet stuff than the rest of us. I walked to my kitchen and started making coffee. I can look around. You're such a blessing. I don't know what we'd do without you. The irony was so thick I could taste it. After she hung up, I opened my laptop and pulled up the rental listing I'd prepared 3 months ago. Same neighborhood, same property management company, same professional photos. I'd been waiting for this moment. I called Marlowe directly. Hello? Her voice was shaky, exhausted. Hi, this is Savannah. Mom told me what happened. I'm so sorry. Oh God, Savannah, it's a nightmare. This landlord is a complete monster. We were only 2 weeks behind, and he filed eviction papers immediately. No grace period, no payment plan, nothing. That's awful. Have you started looking for new places? I've been calling all morning, but everything's either too expensive or they won't take families with kids. I don't know what we're going to do. I pulled up the listing on my screen. Actually, I might have found something. There's a property management company called Maple Street Properties that seems really family friendly. They have a house available right now. Really? Oh my God, you're a lifesaver. What's the address? I gave her the address of the house next door to mine. Wait, that sounds familiar. Isn't that the same company we rented from before? I don't think so. This is a different company entirely. Very professional, very understanding about family situations. Can you send me the link? Of course, I'll text it to you right now. 20 minutes later, my business phone rang. Hi, this is Marlo calling about the rental listing. We actually looked at one of your properties before, but we had to move out due to circumstances. I kept my voice neutral, professional. I see. Well, this is a different property entirely. When would you like to schedule a viewing? Could we see it today? We're kind of in a desperate situation. Of course. How about 2 p.m.? Perfect. Thank you so much. You have no idea how much this means to us. That afternoon, I watched from my living room as they toured the house again. This time, Marlowe looked defeated rather than hopeful. Kyson kept checking his phone and muttering under his breath. Luna had lost some of her earlier enthusiasm. They signed the lease in my driveway, using my porch table as a desk. I stayed hidden behind my curtains, close enough to hear every word. The deposit is steep, Kyson said. We don't have a choice, Marlowe replied. At least this landlord seems reasonable. We'll see about that. Don't be so negative. Savannah found this place for us. Her research is always perfect. That evening, I grilled salmon on my back patio while they moved boxes next door. The fence between our yards was just high enough that they couldn't see me, but I could hear everything. Mommy, look, there's someone cooking over there. It smells good. Don't bother the neighbors, Luna. We just moved in. But they might be nice. Can we say hi? Maybe tomorrow, baby. We have too much unpacking to do. I raised my wine glass toward the fence. Welcome to the neighborhood, I whispered. My phone buzzed with a text from Mom. Mom, Marlowe says, you found them another perfect place. Same property company as before. What are the odds? You're their guardian angel. Me. Just happy to help family. Why, Mom, you're such a good person, Savannah. I'm so proud of you. I stared at that text for a long time. Proud of me for what? For helping them find a place to live? Or for being the kind of person who would help family without being asked? If only she knew. They didn't recognize their landlord. Not yet. The rent was due on the 1st. It was now the 15th. I sat at my kitchen table, sipping coffee and reviewing the lease agreement. Clear terms, standard late fees, everything legally airtight. My lawyer had made sure of that. My business phone rang. Maple Street Properties, this is Sarah speaking. I'd practiced the fake name until it rolled off my tongue naturally. Hi, this is Marlo. I'm calling about our rent payment. I know we're a little behind, but Kyson's hours got cut at work and Ms. Shaw, according to our records, your payment is 14 days overdue. Per the lease agreement, a formal notice will be issued if payment isn't received within 48 hours. Please, we just need a few more days. We've never been late before with you guys. I understand this is difficult, but we have policies in place for all tenants. 48 hours. I hung up and immediately called my lawyer. Marcus, I need you to draft a formal late payment notice. Standard language, nothing aggressive, just professional. You sure about this, Savannah? These kinds of situations can get messy. I'm sure. Email it to me by end of day. That evening, I watched through my window as Marlowe and Kyson argued on their front porch, their voices carried across the yard. I told you we should have asked Sarah for money, Marlowe said. I'm not begging your mother for handouts. I'll figure something out. How? You've been saying that for 2 weeks. Maybe we should call that landlord company directly, explain the situation. I already tried. They're not budging. Luna appeared in the doorway, rubbing her eyes. Mommy? Why are you yelling? We're not yelling, baby. Go back inside. The next morning, I slipped the notice under their door before my run. Official, letterhead, Marcus's signature, everything by the book. My phone rang an hour later. Savannah! Mom's voice was frantic. Did you hear about Marlowe? What about her? Her landlord sent some horrible legal notice. They're threatening eviction over being 2 weeks late. 2 weeks? What kind of monster does that to a family? I stopped stretching and sat on my front steps. That does seem harsh. Marlowe's beside herself. She called the property company, but they won't budge. Very cold, very corporate. She said the woman on the phone sounded like a robot. Maybe she should try talking to them in person. That's what I told her. Sometimes you need that human connection, you know? Show them the kids, explain the situation face to face. Absolutely. Personal touch makes all the difference. Could you maybe help her research the company, find out who owns it? Sometimes going straight to the top works better. I smiled. I'll see what I can dig up. That afternoon, there was a knock on my door. I looked through the peephole and saw Luna standing on my porch holding a drawing. I opened the door. Hi there? Hi, I'm Luna. I live next door. I made you a picture. She held up a crayon drawing of two houses with stick figures in the yards. One figure was grilling, the other was playing with a ball. That's you cooking, she pointed to the first figure, and that's me playing. I can smell your food sometimes. It smells really good. Thank you, Luna. This is beautiful. Are you the nice lady who lives here? I suppose I am. Mommy says we can't bother the neighbors, but you seem nice. Do you have kids? No, just me. That must be lonely. Do you want to play sometime? Before I could answer, Marlowe's voice called from next door. Luna, where are you? I'm talking to the nice lady. Marlowe appeared at the fence line, looking embarrassed. I'm so sorry. Luna, come back here right now. It's fine, I called back. She was just showing me her artwork. She's not supposed to bother people. Luna, inside, now. Luna waved goodbye and skipped back to her yard. I watched Marlowe scoop her up, whispering something in her ear. That evening, I was grading papers on my porch when I heard Kyson's truck pull into their driveway. He slammed the door harder than usual. Any luck with the landlord? Marlowe asked as he walked up their front steps. Bunch of corporate assholes. Won't even tell me who owns the company. Everything goes through some property management firm. What are we going to do? I don't know, Marlowe. Maybe your cousin can work her magic again, find us another place. I hate asking her for help all the time. Why? She's good at this stuff. Better than us, anyway. I heard their front door close and pulled out my phone. Me to mom. Heard Marlowe's having landlord trouble. Happy to help research again if needed. Mom, you're an angel. I'll let her know. 20 minutes later, my personal phone rang. Marlowe. Savannah, Mom said you might be able to help us research this property company. We're trying to figure out who actually owns our house. Of course. What's the company name? Maple Street Properties. They seem like a pretty big operation, but we can't find much information online. I pulled up my laptop, pretending to search. You're right. Very professional website, but not much about ownership structure. These LLCs can be tricky to trace. The woman I talked to was so cold, no compassion at all. Some people are just built that way. All business, no heart. Exactly. I just wish we could talk to someone human. I understand completely. After I hung up, I found Luna's drawing on my coffee table. Two houses, two stick figures. In her 6-year-old world, we were already neighbors, already friends. I taped it to my refrigerator. The pounding on my door came at 8 p.m. on a Thursday. Aggressive, angry knocks that made my wine glass rattle on the coffee table. I looked through the peephole. Kyson stood on my porch, holding an envelope, his face twisted with rage. I opened the door, but kept the chain lock engaged. Can I help you? Cut the bullshit, Savannah. I know it's you. My heart hammered against my ribs, but I kept my voice steady. I'm sorry? He held up the envelope. Rent receipt. Internal processing slip fell out. Has your full name on it, along with the LLC registration number. Took me about 10 minutes to trace it back. I stared at him through the crack in the door. 3 years of planning, and it came down to a clerical error. I don't know what you're talking about. Open the fucking door. I think you should leave. Open it, or I'll tell Marlowe right now. Your choice. I closed the door, unhooked the chain, and opened it wide. Kyson pushed past me into my living room. Nice place, he said, looking around. Must be expensive, but then again, you can afford it when you're bleeding your own family dry. You're behind on rent. That's not my fault. 2 weeks? 2 weeks, and you send legal threats? To your own cousin? I walked to my kitchen, needing distance. He followed. She's not really my cousin, is she? More like your aunt's daughter who everyone treats like a princess while you get ignored. You don't know anything about my family. I know plenty. I've been watching this dynamic for years. Poor little Savannah, so smart, so accomplished, so completely invisible to everyone who's supposed to love her. I gripped the edge of my counter. Get out. You want to know what's really fucked up? Marlo actually likes you. She brags about how smart you are, how you always come through when she needs help. She has no idea her helpful cousin is the same person making her life hell. I'm not making her life hell. I'm being a landlord. Bullshit. You're being vindictive. This is about that graduation thing, isn't it? They skipped your little ceremony, so now you're playing puppet master. Little ceremony? I turned to face him. Little ceremony? Yeah, you're my college graduation, the first in our family's history. Summa cum laude from Stanford University. But sure, let's call it a little ceremony. Look, I get that your feelings were hurt. Hurt? I laughed, and it came out sharp and bitter. Kyson, they chose your girlfriend's second baby shower over my once in a lifetime achievement. Not hurt, devastated, humiliated, abandoned. So you decided to get revenge by becoming our landlord? That's psychotic. Is it? Or is it just good business? You needed a place to live. I had a property available. Supply and demand. Don't give me that economics bullshit. You orchestrated this whole thing. I opened my refrigerator and pulled out a bottle of water, taking my time. You're right. I did. The admission hung in the air between us. Jesus Christ, Savannah. You want to know what's really fucked up, Kyson? You've been dating Marlo for 4 years. 4 years of watching her family treat me like furniture, and you never once said anything. Never once stood up for me. But now that I have power over you, suddenly you care about fairness? That's different. How? Because we're talking about housing, about Luna and the baby. And I'm talking about family, about being erased from every important moment of my life while everyone fawned over Marlowe's mistakes. Her mistakes? Dropping out of school, getting pregnant at 19, moving in with a guy who can't hold a job for more than 6 months. His face went red. Fuck you. Truth hurts, doesn't it? You know what the real kicker is? I'm actually a better landlord than most. The house is in perfect condition, rent's below market rate, and I've only sent one late notice after 2 weeks of non payment. Most landlords would have started eviction proceedings by now. You're sick. I'm successful. There's a difference. He stepped closer, trying to intimidate me. What do you want? Money? An apology? What's it going to take for you to stop this twisted game? I want what I've always wanted: recognition, respect, for someone in this family to acknowledge that I exist and that I matter. So you're holding our housing hostage until they, what? Throw you a parade? I'm collecting rent from tenants who are consistently late. Everything else is just bonus. He stared at me for a long moment. Marlowe's going to be destroyed when she finds out. Then maybe you shouldn't tell her. Are you threatening me? I'm stating facts. You tell her she gets hurt. You don't tell her she stays happy in her little bubble where Cousin Savannah is the helpful angel who finds perfect rental properties. This is blackmail. This is reality. You have a choice to make. He headed toward the door, then turned back. You know what the saddest part is? You actually had a chance to be better than them, to rise above all the family bullshit and be the bigger person. Instead, you became exactly what you hate. Maybe, but at least I'm not the one who can't make rent. He slammed the door so hard my windows rattled. I poured myself another glass of wine and walked to my back porch. Through the fence, I could see Marlowe putting Luna to bed, reading her a story by lamplight. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Unknown. This isn't over. I typed back. Rent's still due on the 1st. Then I blocked the number and went back to my wine. The invitation never came. I found out about Aunt Sarah's 60th birthday party the same way I found out about everything else, through Mom's Facebook posts. Getting ready for Sarah's Big Six Nero. Can't wait to celebrate with the whole family. Posted 2 hours ago. Party was tonight. Lucas found me stress eating vending machine cookies in the law library. You look like someone stole your dog, he said, sitting down across from me. My family's having a party. I wasn't invited. When? Right now. He checked his watch. So go. I can't just show up uninvited. Why not? Your family, right? I laughed bitterly. Technically. Savannah, you've been carrying this grudge for 3 years. Maybe it's time to face them directly instead of playing these elaborate games. What games? Don't. I know you've been up to something. You disappear for hours, you're always checking your phone, and last week I saw you talking to some guy about property management. What's going on? I stared at him. Lucas was the closest thing I had to a moral compass, and right now he was pointing directly at my conscience. It's complicated. Try me. I bought the house next to mine and rented it to my cousin without telling her it was me. His jaw dropped. Jesus, Savannah, why? Because they skipped my graduation for her baby shower and I wanted them to depend on me for once without knowing it. That's. He ran his hands through his hair. That's actually kind of brilliant and completely insane. Her boyfriend figured it out. Confronted me last week. What did you say? The truth. That I'm tired of being invisible. Lucas leaned back in his chair. You know what you need to do. What? Go to that party. Stop hiding behind property management companies and fake names. Face them. They don't want me there. Then make them want you there. Show up, be yourself, and force them to acknowledge you exist. 2 hours later, I stood in Aunt Sarah's driveway wearing my best dress and carrying a bottle of expensive wine. Cars everywhere. The whole family was here. I could hear laughter and music from the backyard. Through the gate, I saw the usual suspects: Mom, Dad, Aunt Sarah holding court at a decorated table, Marlowe chasing Luna around with a piece of cake. I took a deep breath and walked through the gate. The conversations didn't stop immediately. It was more like a wave, people noticing me, nudging each other, whispers spreading across the yard. Mom spotted me first. Her face went white. Savannah, what are you doing here? Happy birthday, Aunt Sarah. I walked over and handed her the wine. Sorry I'm late. Sarah looked confused. Thank you, dear. I. We didn't think you were coming. Why wouldn't I come to my aunt's birthday party? The yard had gone quiet now. Everyone was staring. Marlowe stood frozen by the dessert table, Luna tugging on her dress. Well, Sarah said, forcing a smile, you're here now. That's what matters. Kyson appeared at Marlowe's side, his face dark with anger. He whispered something in her ear. Her eyes went wide. Is there somewhere we can talk? Marlowe asked, walking toward me. Actually, I think we should all talk, Kyson said loudly. Since we're all family here. Kyson, don't, Marlowe hissed. Don't what? Don't tell them the truth about their precious Savannah? The yard went dead silent. Even the kids stopped running around. What truth? Mom asked. Kyson smiled, but it wasn't friendly. Ask her about Maple Street properties. I felt every eye in the yard turn to me. I don't know what you're talking about. Really? Because I have rent receipts with your name on them. Turns out our mysterious corporate landlord is actually Cousin Savannah. The silence stretched forever. Then everyone started talking at once. What does that mean? Sarah asked. She's our landlord, Marlowe said quietly. She's been our landlord this whole time. That's impossible, Mom said. Savannah helped you find that place. She helped us find it because she owns it, Kyson said. She's been playing puppet master for months. Sarah's face twisted with disgust. You've been deceiving your own family. I've been providing housing to family members who needed it. By lying to us, Sarah stood up. By tricking us. What kind of person does that? The kind who gets tired of being ignored. So you decided to manipulate us instead, to control where Marlowe lives, how much she pays, whether she gets evicted? I decided to stop being the family doormat. You're sick, Sarah spat. Absolutely sick, using your own cousin's desperation against her. Her desperation? I looked around the yard at all their shocked faces. Where was all this concern when I graduated summa cum laude from Stanford? Where was the family support when I was working 3 jobs to put myself through law school? That's different, Mom said weakly. How? How is it different? Because you don't need us, Sarah said. You've always been so independent, so self sufficient. Marlowe needs help. Everyone needs help sometimes, even me. So you decided to get revenge by becoming Marlowe's landlord? That's twisted. I walked to the center of the yard where Sarah's birthday cake sat on a decorated table. I picked up a knife and tapped it against a wine glass. Can I have everyone's attention? The yard went quiet again. I'd like to make a toast. I raised my glass. To family. To the people who are supposed to celebrate your victories and support you through failures. To the people who should show up when it matters. I looked directly at each of them. You all skipped the wrong graduation. I set down my glass and walked toward the gate. Savannah, wait, Marlowe called after me. I turned back. Happy birthday, Aunt Sarah. Thanks for the memories. And I left them standing there in stunned silence, finally paying attention to me for once in their lives. The eviction notice was perfectly legal. Kyson's brother Derek had been crashing on their couch for 2 weeks without being added to the lease. Unauthorized occupancy, clear violation of the rental agreement. I had Marcus draft it professionally, 30 days to remedy the violation or vacate the premises. I slipped it under their door at dawn and went for my usual run. When I got back, Marlowe was sitting on my front steps, holding the notice and crying. We need to talk. I unlocked my door. Come in. She followed me into my kitchen, clutching the eviction papers like evidence in a murder trial. Is this real? Derek's been living there for 2 weeks. The lease clearly states, cut the landlord act, Savannah. It's me. Just be honest with me for once. I poured myself a glass of water and leaned against the counter. Yes, it's real. Why? Her voice cracked. I need to understand why you hate me so much. I don't hate you. Then explain this. Explain why you've been playing this sick game for months. You want the truth? Fine. You've never had to fight for anything in your life. Everything gets handed to you, and when you mess up, everyone rushes to fix it. That's not true, isn't it? You dropped out of college. Mom paid your debt. You got pregnant at 19. Everyone threw you a baby shower. You can't afford rent. The whole family scrambles to help you find a place. Those weren't handouts. They were. What? Family support? Where was my family support when I was eating ramen for dinner every night to save money for law school? Where was it when I graduated summa cum laude to an empty auditorium? Marlowe wiped her eyes. We didn't know it meant so much to you. Bullshit. You knew. You all knew. And you chose not to come anyway. Mom said. She stopped herself. Mom said what? Nothing. No, finish it. Mom said what? Marlowe looked down at her hands. She said it was just another school thing, that you wouldn't mind if we skipped it because you're not emotional like that. The words hit me like a physical blow. Not emotional like that. She didn't mean it in a bad way. She just meant you're stronger than the rest of us, more independent. So you all decided I didn't need anyone there. We thought you thought wrong. I set my glass down harder than necessary. Do you know what it's like to sit in that auditorium watching everyone else's families take pictures and celebrate while your phone buzzes with updates from your cousin's baby shower? Savannah, do you know what it's like to realize that your own mother thinks your biggest achievement is just another school thing? I'm sorry. We're all sorry. But this, she waved the eviction notice. This isn't the way to handle it. Isn't it? For 3 years, I've been invisible to this family. Now, suddenly, everyone knows exactly who I am. You're scaring Luna. She keeps asking why the nice lady next door is being mean to us. That stopped me cold. I'm not being mean to Luna. You're evicting her family. How is that not mean? Derek violated the lease. This is business. This is revenge, and you know it. I walked to my living room window and looked out at their house. Derek's motorcycle was parked in the driveway, his laundry hanging on their back porch. Why should I make exceptions for you that I wouldn't make for any other tenant? Because I'm your family. Family? I laughed bitterly. When has this family ever acted like family to me? We love you. You ignore me. There's a difference. Marlowe stood up, crumpling the notice in her fist. Fine. You want to know the truth? You're right. We did take you for granted. We did assume you didn't need us because you're so damn capable of everything. Thank you. But you know what? You're not the only one who's been hurt by this family. You think it's easy being the screw up, being the one everyone has to rescue all the time? Poor little Marlowe, getting all the attention. It's not attention, it's pity. Do you think I don't know what they say about me? Poor Marlowe, can't do anything right. Thank God she has family to bail her out. At least they say something about you. They don't say anything about me at all. Because you never let them. You disappeared after graduation and barely spoke to any of us for 3 years. How were we supposed to know you were hurting? I shouldn't have to beg for basic acknowledgement from my own family. And I shouldn't have to find out my landlord is my cousin through my boyfriend. We stared at each other across my living room, both breathing hard. So what now? She asked. You evict us and feel better about yourself? I don't know. Luna drew you another picture yesterday. It's on our refrigerator. She calls you the lady who smells like flowers because of your perfume. I closed my eyes. Marlowe. She doesn't understand why we might have to move again. She likes it here. She likes having you next door, even though she's not supposed to bother you. She's not bothering me. Then don't do this. Please. Derek can leave today. Right now. Just don't punish Luna for our family's mistakes. I looked at the eviction notice in her hand, then at Luna's drawing still taped to my refrigerator. Derek's gone by tonight? Yes. And rent's on time from now on? Yes. I walked to my desk and pulled out a piece of paper. I'll draft an addendum to the lease. Derek's removal constitutes remedy of the violation. Thank you. She headed toward the door, then turned back. For what it's worth, I am proud of you. I always have been. I never knew how to tell you that without sounding patronizing. You could have tried. You're right. I could have. After she left, I sat in my kitchen staring at Luna's drawing, two stick figures holding hands between two houses. In her world, we were already family. Maybe that was enough. Luna was waiting on my front porch when I got home from class, sitting cross legged with a backpack covered in unicorn stickers. Hi, Miss Savannah. I looked around for Marlowe. Where's your mom? She's at work. Derek's supposed to watch me, but he fell asleep on the couch. I got bored. Derek. Still there, despite our agreement. I felt my jaw clench. Does your mom know you're here? I left her a note. Can I come in? I have something to show you. Against my better judgment, I unlocked the door. Luna bounded inside like she owned the place. Wow, your house is so clean, and it smells like those candles at the fancy store. She plopped down on my couch and unzipped her backpack, pulling out a folder thick with papers. I'm applying for the Smart Kids program at school. Mommy says I need to write an essay about someone I admire. That's nice, Luna. I wrote about you. I stopped halfway to the kitchen. What? Want to hear it? Before I could answer, she cleared her throat dramatically and began reading. The Person I Admire Most by Luna Shaw. The person I admire most is my neighbor, Miss Savannah. She is very smart and went to college, which is hard to do. She also has her own house and cooks food that smells really good. I sat down on the coffee table across from her. She is nice to me even when grown ups are fighting. She never yells or gets mad. I think she is lonely sometimes because she lives by herself, but she is still kind to everyone. I want to be smart like her when I grow up and have my own house too. Luna looked up at me with bright eyes. Do you think it's good? It's it's very good, Luna. Mommy helped me spell some words, but I wrote it all by myself. She cried when I read it to her. She cried? Happy crying, I think. She does that sometimes. My phone buzzed. Text from Marlo. Marlo, is Luna with you? Derek said she disappeared. I showed Luna the text. Your mom's worried. Can you tell her I'm okay? And can you help me with my essay? There's some words I want to use, but I don't know how to spell them. I texted Marlo back. She's with me. Safe. Marlo. Thank God. I'll be there in 20 minutes. What words do you need help with? Luna pulled out a pencil. I want to say you're. What's the word when someone does good things even when they don't have to? Generous? Yes. And what about when someone is really good at lots of things? Accomplished? She wrote carefully, tongue poking out in concentration. And what about when someone helps people but doesn't want everyone to know about it? I paused. What do you mean? Like how you helped us find this house. Mommy told me you did research and found the perfect place for us, but you didn't want credit for it. Luna, and how you let me visit even though I'm probably bothering you, and how you didn't make us move when Derek was being loud and messy. She looked up at me with those innocent 6-year-old eyes that saw everything and understood more than adults gave her credit for. I think the word is secretly nice. I laughed despite myself. I don't think that's one word. Then what is it? I don't know. Maybe just human. Marlowe's knock interrupted us. I opened the door to find her looking frazzled and exhausted. Luna, you can't just disappear like that. You scared me to death. I left a note? A note that said, Gone to see Miss Savannah isn't enough information. Luna gathered her papers and stuffed them back into her backpack. Miss Savannah helped me with my essay. She taught me how to spell accomplished. Marlowe looked at me. Thank you. For watching her, I mean. It's fine. No, it's not fine. Nothing about this situation is fine. She sat down on my couch uninvited. Derek's still here. I know he's supposed to be gone, but his job fell through and he has nowhere else to go. Marlowe, I'm not asking for more time, I'm asking for help. What kind of help? I want to buy this house. I stared at her. What? I've been thinking about what you said, about fighting for things instead of having them handed to me. I want to fight for this, for Luna's stability, for our future. I want to buy this house from you. You can't afford. I got a promotion at work, and I've been saving money by not going out, not buying unnecessary things. I can't afford much, but I can afford something. Luna looked between us like she was watching a tennis match. Why? I asked. Because Luna loves it here. Because for the first time in my life, I want to earn something instead of having it given to me. And because she looked down at her hands. Because I want to prove to you that I'm not just the family screw up. I walked to my kitchen window and looked out at the yard where Luna had been playing earlier, her toys scattered across the grass. I'll have it appraised. We'll work out a payment plan. Marlowe's face lit up. Really? Really? But Derek leaves this week. Done. Luna jumped up and hugged my legs. Does this mean we get to stay? Does this mean you'll be my neighbor forever? I looked down at her bright, hopeful face, then at Marlowe, who was crying again. Happy tears this time. Yeah, Luna, I'll be your neighbor. As they walked back to their house, soon to be their house, I stood in my doorway watching. Luna skipped ahead, chattering about her essay, while Marlowe followed, looking lighter than I'd seen her in years. My phone rang. Lucas, how'd it go with the family drama? I watched Luna chase a butterfly in the yard. It's complicated. Good complicated or bad complicated? I'm not sure there's a difference anymore. So, did it feel good, getting your revenge? I looked at the deed on my coffee table, then at Luna's drawing still hanging on my refrigerator. Two houses, two stick figures holding hands across the fence. Ask me in a few years. That's not an answer. It's the only answer I have right now. I hung up and walked back inside, leaving the door open, just in case Luna wanted to visit again. After all, we were neighbors now. Neighbors help each other out, even when it's complicated.